Support for the Leadoff on WGLT and WGLT.org comes from the Central Illinois Regional Airport, where travelers are one stop away from world destinations. Connections on Delta Airlines to Atlanta are available daily. Close, convenient, CIRA. More at CIRA.com.
Illinois is well ahead of its 30-year average pace for tornadoes this year, including 5 in McLean County last week. It's one of the things you need to know to start your day for Thursday, June 20th. I'm Ryan Denham, and this is WGLT's The Leadoff. Now let's lead off with the first day of summer, and whether this summer will be as stormy as the spring was. More from WGLT's Eric Stock.
The National Weather Service has confirmed 5 tornadoes hit McLean County within about 20 minutes last Thursday night, and a 6th twister struck nearby Ford County. Warning coordination meteorologist Ed Schimett explains how these clusters can occur.
There's just enough of a period of time where the winds in the atmosphere of where this storm is coming line up just right to provide just enough of a rotational inertia in the atmosphere that this storm is ingesting that air, and bing, 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 you can have a quick series of tornadoes develop like this.
Schimett says one of the tornadoes that touched down near Anchor in northeast McLean County tore a nearly 8-mile path to Gibson City. No injuries were reported in the storms. Illinois is well ahead of its 30-year average pace for tornadoes this year. The Midwest recorded May, one of its stormiest in the last 20 years. This comes at a time when the region has been baking in 90-degree heat for most of the week. Schimett says that extreme heat might tamp down the risk of more tornadoes.
That's going to suppress our potential for really significant tornadic type events. We may get large hail, maybe some damaging wind, but the tornado threat tends to diminish when we have a really hot atmosphere across the area.
Schimett says that's one good thing about the so-called heat dome. For the Leadoff, I'm Eric Stock.
Here are some other stories we're following at the WGLT newsroom. A federal grand jury has indicted former Redditus Labs CEO Aaron Rossi on new charges. It's linked to hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of alleged COVID-19 testing fraud. He's accused of double billing both private insurers and the state for those tests. The city of Bloomington is apologizing for a billing error that increased residents' utility bills. The city says an unexpected glitch inadvertently combined the taxes of previous and current budget years, which led to the higher-than-expected bills. And the former bookkeeper and head of finance for a boarding school in Livingston County is accused of taking several $100,000 over several years. You can find more on these stories at WGLT.org. The mayor of Bloomington says he's pleased at the results of a recent symposium gathering ideas to address the housing shortage. In this interview with WGLT's Charlie Schlenker, Mayor Mboka Mwilambwe says the event advances the community conversation.
What we've had over the past couple years is, people having sort of one-off discussions, either between individuals or with this one group or in that group. So it was really nice to see everybody in the same room and talking about what issues they have, but also talk about what they see as possible solutions.
What's going to emerge from this that it will be more than one-off?
The staff will bring forward sort of a report, of what they've heard. And then the hope, I think we'll be able to get this done by the end of the month. So the last meeting in June, they'll bring forth a resolution for the council to consider and provide some guidance to staff as to where to go.
What are a couple of the ideas you found to be most promising?
I've heard people talk about interest rate buy down, because the cost of money is pretty high right now. One thing that I thought was intriguing is property tax freeze. Some people were advocating for that, although I think that will take a little bit more studying to see what the impact could be. One other idea that I heard was sort of putting together a loan fund. The details would have to be worked out in terms of who would contribute to this loan fund. Ideally, it's envisioned as a sort of a public-private partnership, government, private entities, especially some of the employers, who have the greatest needs in terms of, housing for their workforce.
For loan interest buy-downs and a loan fund, what scope of project would those two potential offerings serve? How big a housing project could that help?
Initially, my goal is to be able to try to do something as quickly as possible that would really help to deflate, the pressure that we have right now. One of the things that I thought was interesting, out of that came through pretty clearly, although others might say, well, we all knew that, but I do think some of the, let's talk about Rivian. Rivian has, and it's a great problem to have, 8,000 or 9,000 employees, within the past few years. So with Rivian, I think, most of their workforce is a workforce that certainly would not be interested in purchasing homes at the higher end of the scale. So I think, our focus needs to be in homes that are a little bit more moderate. I would say probably in the 200 to 250 range or something, or even lower, that some people could be able to afford, because in addition to having a mortgage, but you also have those could be first-time home buyers, but the money that they would need to put down would be also an issue. So
are you talking about townhouses or condos or multi-unit developments that have a purchase ownership stake in them, or what?
Yeah, so that's kind of what I'm thinking about. We've had a lot has been mentioned about that sort of missing middle that we don't have in the community. At least don't have a whole lot of townhomes and that kind of thing. We have a lot of single family homes, but duplexes, but also you're talking maybe multi-family housing and that kind of thing.
That's Bloomington Mayor Mboka Mwilambwe speaking with WGLT's Charlie Schlenker. You can read or listen to the rest of their conversation at WGLT.org. Before we let you go, Normal's Zoning Board of Appeals meets today at 5 at City Hall. On the light agenda there is a turnaround pad for a home in the Ironwood subdivision. And that's it for today. I'm Ryan Denham. You can subscribe to The Leadoff on the NPR app or wherever you get your podcasts.